my name's Scott. Today I'm going to be doing a review on the Mini Did and the Gemini Genesis repairable atomizers, which I received from www.mmvapors.com. Before I start though, I must point out I did receive them free of charge for the purpose of conducting a review, but my opinion of the products remain true, honest and accurate as always. Okay, so let's go straight ahead then and show them in a bit more detail. Okay, so in this review I'm going to show you both the Gemini as well as the Mini Did, which are both Genesis style repairable atomizers. This one here that I'm holding is the Gemini, and down here I have all the individual parts that make up the Mini Did. I'm going to show you how to assemble that in a second, and the exact same assembly process can be applied to the Gemini as well. Both are made out of stainless steel and the machine quality is excellent, and all the parts screw together really nice and smoothly. Also included will be a bag which contains your O-rings, a drip tip and a spare screw, as well as another bag which contains your stainless steel mesh and camphor wire. On top you're going to find a hole for your 510 drip tip, and pretty much every drip tip that I've tried fits in there really nice and snugly. And on the base you're going to see that it has a 510 threading, which means you can use the Gemini or the Mini Did on any device that also has a 510 atomizer connection. And finally, on the front of the top cap you're going to find some engraving, which I believe is a company logo, and on the back you're also going to find a serial number. Okay, then so what I'm going to do now then is just show you how to assemble the Mini Did. And like I said, the exact same process can be applied to the Gemini as well. Okay, so the first thing you're going to do is take the base section which has the 510 atomizer connection, put an O-ring on the outside there, then take the central shaft, put an O-ring on either end, and then screw the two parts together. Then take the tank, which holds around 2 millilitres of e-liquid, slide it over the top and just push it into place. Then you're going to take the top section, push it onto the tank and just screw it onto those threads there. Then take the stainless steel adjustable centre pin, push it in from the bottom, all the way through until it comes out the top. Then you're going to take this small threaded post and screw all the way down to the bottom. You then have two of these small nuts and they just screw onto the centre post as well. And that's it, it's all assembled pretty much, apart from just adding a wick and wrapping a coil, which I'll show you next. Okay, so I've just put my mesh wick into position and then loosened off this terminal post here. And what I'm going to do is just start off then by trapping my piece of camphor wire. So I'm just going to place it underneath there, get a screwdriver out and tighten it up. Okay, so just so that it won't get in the way when I'm wrapping my coils, I'm just going to apply a little bit of tension to this wire, spin it, and it should snap off nice and clean. Okay, so what I'm going to do now then is start wrapping some coils around the wick. I'm going to try and end up so the top wire finishes in between that little gap there, and just going to tighten up the nut to trap it in place. And that looks like it should be okay. So you should have something that looks a little bit like that. Okay, so now I've got the coils all wrapped. I'm just going to sort of check the resistance. It took me a little bit of a while to get rid of a few hot spots on there, but I managed to get them firing up correctly in the end. And literally, you know, if you do have problems, just give the coils a little bit of a nudge, just to sort of try and move it away from the problem area. And then eventually it should all glow up nice and evenly. So if I do a resistance check, it comes out at 1.8 ohms. Okay, so what I need to do now then is fill the tank up with some e-liquid. Now if you've got a like a syringe, obviously it does make it a little bit easier. But if you've got one of these sort of bottles with the little sort of needle on the end, then obviously you can use that as well. So I'm just going to whack that in there and give it a squeeze. It is quite hard to tell when it's full on here, but you just have to sort of wait until it starts coming out basically. That's it there. Okay, and hopefully when I fire it up, it should get some action. That's it, there you go. And then finally, you just need to add your top cap. And even though it is one that screws on, the air hole does line up quite nicely with the wick. And finish off with your drip tip. And that's it, you're ready to go. Okay, so that is the Mini did and the Gemini did. Let's go ahead and see what they vape like. Okay, so that is the Mini did and the Gemini, and I will show you both of them in action. I'm going to start off though with the Mini did, which I'm using on my Mini Pro Vari. It's currently set at 3.6 volts. The resistance of the coil is really 1.8 ohms. I've got the tank set up with some 18 milligram strength tobacco flavoured e-liquid. It's just a PG based e-liquid. As you can see, like vapor-wise, you're getting plenty of vapour out of it. And that's the one really good thing about these Genesis style atomizers, is that you don't need to crank up the voltage really high to get plenty of vapour. Obviously I'm using a Pro Vari here, which is a variable voltage device, but even if you've only got something like a standard sort of Ego battery, which is giving off just like a regular sort of voltage, you should still be able to get a really nice amount of vapour out of it. Now, as with all sort of Genesis style atomizers, as long as it's set up correctly, the flavour comes through absolutely excellent. It really is spot on. Now I know some people say that you have to sort of work through the first tank to get the flavour to come through, but me personally, I find that as long as it's set up correctly, then the flavour is going to come through immediately. No problems whatsoever. I've never had to work through a tank to try and get it to taste nice. If I find that there's any sort of slight funky metal taste or anything like that to my vape, then I know that there's something wrong and just got to go and nudge the coils a little bit. And the difference is between night and day, it really is. So, if you do find a funny taste, just have a little fiddle about of it, and then I'll promise you that flavour will come through straight away. That's just my own personal opinion, of course. Okay, so what I'll do then is I'll go on to the Gemini. Now I've set this one a little bit different. That was with a 4 coils and it was coming out at 1.8 ohms. And this one is set up at with just 3 coils to make the resistance a bit lower. And this is reading at 1.3 ohms. And I'm not going to change the actual voltage. I'll keep the voltage the same. And it's filled up with the same tobacco flavoured e-liquid. And you can probably see that I'm getting a slightly more vapour out of it. The actual heat of the vapour is coming out a fair bit warmer as well. And the whole vape, the first one, the way I've got it set up, is coming out like just a nice sort of chilled out, sort of relaxed vape. Whereas this one with the lower resistance on it, it's coming out a bit more sort of, it feels a bit more sort of in your face. That's the way to describe it. You can probably hear it as well. To be honest, there's not a great deal else I can really sort of tell you about it. They're both very nice atomizers. And I really like the look of the Gemini. It's definitely got a very sort of funky look to it. Machine quality is excellent, and the original did, was very good quality, but I think the quality has actually even improved since the original did as well. Nice to see that they've got rid of the like the brass pieces in there, so it's all stainless steel, which can only be a good thing. You know, like I said, not a great deal else I can tell you. If you fancy trying one out for yourself, go along to www.mmvapors.com. Thank you very much for watching, and also come along and visit my website at www.e-cig-reviews.com. That's e-cig-reviews.com. Cheers guys, happy vaping, see you later.